Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a mission, really. We're going to try and demystify something that trips up pretty much everyone sometimes. Those tricky bits of English grammar. We've sifted through a whole bunch of sources, quick guides, really detailed grammar stuff. And our goal is simple. Give you the most important, actionable insights.
Right.
So give it like a shortcut, helping you sound sharper, clearer, and maybe speak with a bit more confidence. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that these common slip-ups, they aren't just like abstract rules you got to memorize from a book.
Right.
They're actually pathways to communicating more clearly, expressing yourself better. And, even people who've spoken English their whole lives can stumble on this.
Yeah, definitely.
So this deep dive is really relevant for pretty much anyone looking to refine their English, make sure their message actually lands the way they intended to.
Absolutely. So we've pinpointed 9 distinct but sort of interconnected grammar mistakes that kept popping up in our sources.
Okay.
For each one, we'll show you the common error, then the right way, and crucially, the rule, or maybe just a practical tip to fix it, making it really usable for you.
Sounds good.
So kicking off with number 1, it's fundamental, but surprisingly easy to miss. Subject-verb agreement.
Yeah.
This is all about matching the verb to the subject, especially with he, she, or it, that third-person singular in the present tense. You often hear things like, he go to school every day.
Right. And the fix is simple but vital. He goes to school every day. The rule is pretty clear-cut. For he, she, in the present simple, you just add that S to the verb. Always.
Always.
And it's not just about sounding correct. It's about, the listener not having to mentally pause and figure out what you meant.
Yeah, that little hiccup.
Exactly. That missing as tiny as it seems, can actually make you sound a bit less confident, Even if the meaning gets across eventually. It just affects the natural flow.
That's a great point about flow and confidence. Okay, from making verbs and subjects agree, let's talk about those tiny words that do a lot of heavy lifting. Articles. A, and the.
The little big words.
Exactly. They're often overlooked, but using them wrong can make a sentence sound, just a bit off, can it? Like you might hear, I saw an elephant.
Right. Or maybe, I have the cat, when you just mean any cat, not a specific one we already know about.
Yeah, exactly.
And the correct ways are, naturally, I saw an elephant, because elephant starts with that vowel sound.
The sound, yeah.
And, ooh, I have a cat, if you're just introducing the idea you own one. The rules are pretty simple. A before a consonant sound and before a vowel sound, and the when it's specific.
Seems straightforward when you put it like that.
It does, but getting it right really boosts clarity. It tells the listener if we're talking about something specific or general. Huge difference in meaning sometimes.
Definitely. Okay, speaking of small words causing trouble. Prepositions. Oh boy.
Yes. Notoriously tricky.
They really are. They're tiny. But the wrong one can completely change the meaning, sometimes in really subtle ways. Our sources flagged errors like, I'm good in English.
And I arrived to the airport. You hear those quite a bit.
You do.
And the fixes sound much more natural. I'm good at English and I arrived at the airport. The real insight here isn't about memorizing lists of rules, though.
No.
Well, the sources suggest it's better to learn them in phrases because their meaning depends so much on the words around them. Learning good at, arrive at, interested in as chunks.
Okay. Learn them in context.
Exactly. That's how you get that feel for them, make your English sound more natural.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle mistake 4, using your instead of your. Oh man, this one is everywhere.
It really is. Texts, emails, social media.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Even autocorrect sometimes gets it wrong, I swear. You see stuff like, so wrong, you're the best, all the time.
Yep. Classic mix-up, mostly because they sound exactly the same.
Identical.
But the fix is easy to remember.
Right.
You're the best, because your is just the short form of you are.
Simple as that.
And the quickest tip, the one that works instantly, just say you are in your head or even out loud if you need to.
The substitution test.
Exactly. If you are fits the sentence, you are the best, then use your. If it doesn't make sense, your book is on the table, nope.
Yep.
Then you need the possessive your.
Good tip. It's a small thing, but getting it wrong kind of undermines the message, doesn't it?
It really can, yeah. Makes it look a bit careless.
Okay. And if that's a classic, then mistake 5, confusing there, and there. Well, that's the trifecta of confusion, isn't it?
Yeah. The Hamon and headache trio? Absolutely. Everyone mixes these up sometimes.
Guilty as charged occasionally.
Me too. But it really boils down to function. There is about a place, like point over there. There is the book.
Got it. Place.
There shows ownership, something belonging to them. Student, their house is big. It's got air in it. Helps remember possession.
Ooh, I like that. Air in there. Okay.
And there is just, well, it's just they are squished together. Oh, they're coming soon.
They're coming soon. Makes sense.
So the quick mental check our sources recommend is just pause. Ask yourself, is it a place? Use there. Does it show ownership? Use there. Is it short for they are? Use there.
1 second pause. Identify the function.
Bingo. Instant clarity.
Nice. Okay, up next, number 6. This one's sneaky, I think, especially in advertising, using less instead of fewer.
Ah, yes, the supermarket checkout sign special, 10 items or less.
Exactly. You see it all the time. Or you hear, less people came today.
Right. When technically the more precise usage is, great, fewer people came today.
Because you can count people.
Precisely. The rule of thumb is pretty straightforward. Use fewer for things you can count individually, like fewer apples, fewer mistakes, fewer people.
Okay, countable fewer.
And use less for stuff you can't count individually, things that are more like a mass or concept. Less water, less time, less confusion.
Uncountable less.
So the tip is just, can I put a number on these individual items? If yes, it's probably fewer.
Got it. It seems subtle, but fewer does sound a bit more precise.
It does. And actually, one source pointed out something interesting using less for countable things. Like people can sometimes, maybe unintentionally, feel a bit like you're treating them as a quantity rather than individuals. So fewer can be more respectful in a way.
Huh. Never thought of it like that. Precision and respect. Okay. Moving on to mistake 7. Misplaced apostrophes, especially the classic it's versus its.
Another apostrophe battle.
Totally. Tiny little mark causes so much grief. You see things like wrong. It's raining outside.
All the time. And the correct version is, of course, ooh, right. It's raining outside because it's the apostrophe is the contraction.
For it is or it has.
Exactly. Just like your is, you are. Now, the confusion comes with the possessive form. People often write, wrong, the cat hurt its paw.
Yeah, you see that a lot too.
But the correct possessive form, showing the paw belongs to the cat, actually has no apostrophe. Oh, right. The cat hurt its paw.
No apostrophe for possessive its. That's the tricky part.
It is, but the trick is the same as with your eg. Just try saying it is or it has in your head.
The substitution test again.
Yep. If it is raining outside, makes sense, use its. If the cat hurt its paw sounds wrong, which it does, then you need the possessive its without the apostrophe.
Simple when you know the trick.
It is, but easy to forget in the moment.
Okay, from tricky punctuation, let's shift gears to sentence structure. Mistake 8. Double negatives. This crops up a lot in casual speech, right?
Right.
But it's technically incorrect and can actually flip the meaning.
Absolutely. Like saying, I don't know nothing.
Or, I ain't got no, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And the grammatically standard way to say that first one is, I don't know anything.
Right. Or the second example, oh, wrong. I don't want nothing.
Should be, all right, I don't want anything. Or you could say, I want nothing.
Ah, okay. So why is it wrong?
Well, the logic in standard English is that two negative words like don't and nothing cancel each other out.
Like in math, a minus times a minus is a plus.
Sort of like that, yeah. So I don't know nothing technically means I do know something, which is usually the opposite of what the speaker intends.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. It forces the listener to do a bit of mental gymnastics.
It does. It breaks the flow. So the simple fix our sources give is just use one negative word per clause or simple sentence. I don't need help. Fine. I need no help. Also fine. But not, I don't need no help.
Got it. One negative only.
Keep it simple.
Okay. Incredible how that works. All right. Final one. Mistake 9. Forgetting past forms, especially those pesky irregular verbs.
Ah, the irregulars. The bane of many learners' existence.
Tell me about it. English just seems to love breaking its own rules here. An example error would be something like, yesterday, I go to the market.
Right. Obvious mistake if you're listening for it. The correct past tense is, yesterday, I went to the market.
Went good.
Definitely not good. The rule here is, well, there's not really a rule for the irregulars, is there? You just have to learn them.
Memorization, basically.
Pretty much. Learning forms like go, went, gone, seesaw, seen, eat, ate, eaten. Trying to stick a regular ed on them just doesn't work.
Right.
And mastering these irregular forms is really key for sounding fluent when you talk about the past. Using went instead of go or goed instantly signals a higher level of comfort and accuracy with the language.
Makes you sound more natural, more effortless.
Exactly that.
Wow. Okay, so that was quite a journey through common pitfalls. We covered, let's see, making subjects and verbs agree.
Getting and the right.
Prepositions, learning them in phrases.
You versus your, that class.
Oh, yeah. And the trio. There.
Less versus fewer for countable things.
Apostrophes. Especially it's versus its.
Avoiding those double negative.
And finally, nailing those irregular past tense verbs like went. Quite a list.
It is. And if we kind of zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture for you, the listener, fixing these common errors, it's not just about being correct, like ticking boxes in a grammar test.
No, it's more than that.
It really is.
Yeah.
It genuinely impacts how clearly you express yourself, how precisely your ideas land, and honestly, how confident you sound and feel when you communicate.
Right.
Remember, knowing this stuff is great, but the real value comes when you actually understand it and, start applying it consistently.
Absolutely. So what does all this really mean for you listening right now? Maybe mastering these little details, these things that seem small, isn't just about avoiding mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's actually about unlocking a kind of freedom. A freedom to get your thoughts out there exactly as you intend them, powerfully, precisely, and without that hesitation that comes from worrying if you're saying it right.
Well put.
So maybe try listening out for these things. In conversations, in emails, things you read. Notice them in your old speech and writing and in others. It could be a really good, subtle way to just keep sharpening that communication edge.
Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more English learning videos. See you in the next lesson.